Happy 100th anniversary to the most important studio in Hollywood, Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers is a company that gives you franchises like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Looney Tunes, the DC characters in the DC universe like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, Green Lantern, and Aquaman. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit franchise. It also does Cartoon Network. They produce working on their Cartoon Network shows. And some cartoons out there. Scooby-Doo, Teen Titans, and Animaniacs. Also can't forget about the shows they did for HBO Max, especially in the movies that they were promoting for HBO Max during the pandemic. They also did work on their shows back in the days. Well, also being production companies like Friends, Game of Thrones, Ted Lasso, and Gilmore Girls. And a lot of directors have worked with this studio. Martin Scorsese, Tim Burton, Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder, Todd Phillips, Denis Villeneuve, Ben Affleck, James Gunn, Steven Spielberg, and the two great lights, Richard Donner and Stanley Kubrick. And even the one who works with them a lot, the legendary Clint Eastwood. Founded on April 4th, 1923, by Henry, Sam, Albert, and Jack Warner. Ever since that franchise studio was founded, they did horror movies. They did comedy movies. They did family-friendly animation movies. They did action movies. They did musicals. And they also can't forget about the music they do with artists. They did gangster movies. They did sci-fi action movies. They did gothic movies. They did detective movies. They did biopics of Elvis and Malcolm X. Excuse me. They also did westerns with Clint Eastwood, and some with Clint Eastwood. A bunch of them with Clint Eastwood. They also did war movies as well. And of course, we can't forget about the DC Universe. Say, for example, the first one they ever did, you could probably remember, was Superman the movie and Superman 2. Then there was the other two that were disappointments. Then there's until Bryan Singer brought them back but Superman Returns, ignoring the other two. Then you had Tim Burton's Batman from 1989, Batman. They also had Batman Returns, which was also a hit as well. But when it came time for Batman 3, they bowed out. Burton was let go because of the controversy of the dark tone, and Keaton decided not to return, even though he was offered being money to do it. But the good news is Keaton is back as Batman in The Flash. So how exciting is that to see? After the failure of Batman and Robin, there was Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, with Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Probably one of the greatest superhero trilogy of all time. And then there was the DCEU kicking off with 3 projects: Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad. Then there was Wonder Woman, which was a huge hit. But then came the ultimately disappointment and probably one of the worst movies of all in the franchise, Justice League. Which it was so bad in a way that everyone just straight up laughed at it. Yeah, you probably know how horrible and just disappointed it was and blah it was. But then the next year came Aquaman, which did okay, but it just wasn't quite. It's good, but Jason Momoa is a perfect cast, and especially the woman that you see in this poster on the right. Behind with Jason Momoa is probably not a good cast as well. Then you have Shazam, which was a huge surprise hit. Then you also have Birds of Prey with Harley Quinn spinoff. Well, gotta say it was a surprise as well. But even though some people may not like it, it's okay. Because I liked it as well. Then there was Wonder Woman 1984, which some were disappointed with. But then, prior to the whole failure of Justice League, WB allowed Zack Snyder to finish the movie and get him tens of millions of dollars to do it. And what do you know? We got Zack Snyder's Justice League, a 4-hour-long movie on HBO Max, and something that's much better than Justice League. Then you had Suicide Squad, which was a tailor-made project for James Gunn, and of course, the Peacemaker show, which was a big surprise. And most recently, we had Black Adam and Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Some were met with expectations, some were not well received. But anyways, Black Adam was fun, but Shazam just came out. And then there's the Elseworld. That's some way. There's an Elseworld out there, like Todd Phillips' Joker, which was surprisingly a big surprise. And even pulled off a claim for Joaquin Phoenix to win an Oscar for Best Actor. And of course, Matt Reeves is the Batman. But then there's the end of the DCU, because of one good reason, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. We have the upcoming DCU projects, The Flash, which will be, I hope can be good, but other than that, surrounding the dramas. Will it damage The Flash? Only time will tell. But anyways, the trailer came out months ago, but it looks like it has expectations. You have Blue Beetle, which will fit into the new DCU, and Aquaman, which will be the last time for the DCU, the last project as well. Because James Gunn is going to reboot and restart everything. Because of everything that's been disconnected, and they had no plan. But now they have a plan now, and James Gunn's first project of the DCU, Superman Legacy, will be released July 11, 2025. And so, WB has made some movies and some shows. They did toys and video games throughout the years. They even won awards as well. So happy 1 anniversary of the WB. Excuse me, 100th anniversary to Warner Bros. All the stories out there and all the movies and projects and other things they've done will always be a part of our memories. So happy 100th anniversary to Warner Brothers. Celebrate every story. That's all, folks.